Welcome to The Explainer. So, have you ever stopped to think about how brands actually manage to get your attention? I mean, our digital lives are so crowded. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain and map out the entire journey of a modern marketer. We'll see exactly how they do it.
And it really all kicks off with this one simple fact. Think about your own day. The average person, that's you and me, spends several hours a day plugged into digital media. Now, for a marketer, that's a huge window of opportunity, right? But it's also created this incredibly noisy, super competitive online world where everyone is shouting to be heard.
And that right there is the central challenge, the big question for any brand today. In this world of, endless scrolling and infinite choices, how on earth do you actually get heard? Figuring that out, well, that's the whole game.
So here's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to follow that exact journey, step by step. We'll kick things off with the digital revolution. Then we'll map out the marketplace, get to know the customer, pop open the marketer's toolkit, and finally, we'll talk about navigating the all-important rules of the road.
Okay, let's dive right in at the beginning, because to really get a handle on modern marketing, you have to understand the massive, fundamental shift that just completely rewrote the rulebook. I'm talking about the digital revolution. And look, this was so much more than just websites replacing print ads. It was a seismic shift in power. All of a sudden, we, the consumers, had access to pretty much infinite information, endless choices, and a megaphone to voice our opinions to the entire world. For marketers, that old model of just broadcasting a one-way message, it was completely, utterly broken.
All right, so now that we've set the stage, it's time to draw the map. I mean, think about it. Before any marketer can make a single move, they've got to understand the world they're operating in, right? This is all about figuring out the where of their strategy.
In this map, it's really split into two key perspectives. On one hand, you've got the micro environment. These are the players you're dealing with day to day, your customers, your competitors, that kind of thing. But then, and this is just as important, you have the macro environment. These are the big, sweeping forces you just can't control. We're talking social trends, new laws, massive technological shifts, the kind of stuff that can completely change the game practically overnight.
So, with our map in hand, now we can zoom in on what is, without a doubt, the most important piece of the entire puzzle, the customer. It's not nearly enough to know where you are. You absolutely have to know who you're talking to. This is the who.
And just take a look at how tangled the modern path to purchase really is. It is so not a straight line anymore. Think about it. It might start with the video a friend shares on social media. Then you might search for reviews online. Then you compare prices on a few different websites. And you finally buy the thing on the brand's app. And then you go back and leave a review. It's this messy, non-linear web of interactions that spans tons of different touchpoints. So how do marketers make sense of all this complexity? Well, they create something called personas. These are basically detailed, fictional profiles of their ideal customers. Let's take this thrill-seeker persona as an example. This is exactly the kind of thing a brand like Red Bull would create. Now, he's not a real person, obviously. But this profile, a 24-year-old snowboarder who's all about adventure brands, it gives the marketing team a crystal-clear picture of exactly who they're trying to talk to.
Okay, so we've got our where and our who figured out. Now it's time to get into the how. Let's pop open the Modern Marketer's Toolkit and take a look at the actual frameworks and strategies they use to make it all happen.
And a really powerful way to organize all of these different marketing activities is to think about them in just three simple buckets. It's a straightforward framework, but trust me, it makes a huge difference.
This is what's known as the POEM framework. That stands for paid, owned, and earned media. So, paid media, that's the stuff you buy, like display ads. Owned media is everything you control, like your website or your social media profiles. And then there's earned media. And this is the holy grail. It's the genuine buzz you get from customer reviews and good old-fashioned word of mouth. The real secret sauce here? The best campaigns don't just pick one. They cleverly weave all three together. Now, to actually guide customers along that journey we talked about, marketers often use another handy framework called RACE. It's a super practical way to manage and, just as importantly, measure everything they're doing across that whole customer lifecycle. What's great about this framework is it gives you a clear path for turning total strangers into loyal fans. It all starts with reach. That's about building awareness and getting on people's radar. Then you want them to act. Encourage some interaction. From there, the big goal is to convert them into actual paying customers. But wait, it doesn't stop there. The final, crucial stage is to engage those customers to build that long-term loyalty and hopefully turn them into advocates who spread the word for you.
But here's the thing. Even the fanciest tools in the world can't save a bad strategy. And that brings us to a really famous cautionary tale. Back in May of 2000, the CEO of an online retailer called Boo.com made this one last desperate plea.
Yeah, they didn't get the money. After launching with an insane amount of hype and just torching through $135 million of investor cash, Boo.com collapsed, and it did it in less than a year. It was one of the most spectacular flameouts of the whole dot-com bubble, and believe me, it holds some serious lessons for marketers even today.
So what went wrong? The core lesson is actually pretty simple, but it's incredibly profound. Boo.com failed because it was technology first, not audience first. They built this super flashy, complex website that was painfully slow for the dial-up connections that most people had back then. They completely ignored the actual customer experience. Now, compare that to the later success of a company like Boohoo.com. Their success was built on the complete opposite, an audience-first approach. They just focused on what their customers actually wanted and, crucially, what they could actually access.
And this brings us to our final leg of the journey. And honestly, it might be the most critical part. Because in modern marketing, it's not just about what you do, it's about how you do it. So now, we're going to try and navigate the really complex web of legal and ethical rules that every single marketer has to play by.
You see, a huge part of digital marketing involves tracking. And that conversation often starts with a piece of technology that's caused, well, a whole lot of distrust from users.
So what are cookies really? At its core, a cookie is just a tiny little data file that a website places on your computer. Its job is to recognize that same computer on future visits. Now, while this is incredibly useful for marketers, this kind of tracking has, understandably, raised massive privacy concerns, and that has led to a whole new wave of global regulations.
This has led to landmark regulations like the GDPR over in Europe, which is a really big deal because it fundamentally shifts the power back to the individual. For marketers, this means you have to be totally transparent about how you use data, you can only collect what is absolutely necessary, and you better keep it secure. At the end of the day, it's about a big shift away from a model of just grabbing data to a model of actually building trust.
And in response to all this constant digital noise and privacy concerns, a kind of counter-movement has started to emerge. It's called digital minimalism. And the core idea is pretty simple. People should consciously choose to focus their online time only on the things that truly add value to their lives and just happily ignore everything else. What does that mean for marketers? It means the bar for earning someone's attention is getting higher and higher.
Which leaves us with one final big question to chew on. In an age of artificial intelligence and automation, where technology is getting mind-bogglingly smart every single day, does that mean the most powerful marketing strategy of all is actually to become more human, to focus on building those genuine, trust-based connections?